Hello and welcome, you lovely people. Welcome to English Right Now. So, if you're planning to work in the UK, there are a few key words that you absolutely need to know to navigate the British workplace with confidence. So, whether you're at B2, C1 or C2 level, these words that we're going to talk about today will help you sound more professional and blend in seamlessly. Now, if you're new here, my name is Roy Woodhouse. Welcome. Hello, nice to meet you. And I am a native British English teacher with over 12 years experience teaching English as a second language to thousands of students across the world. And if you are interested in weekly content that will help you become much more fluent in British English, then I would love to have you around. So just tap on that subscribe button, but without further ado, let's dive in. First up, we have notice period. So notice period is the amount of time that you must give your employer before leaving your job. So when you decide to leave your job, you resign, but you give them a period of time that you continue to work. This is called your notice period. So you hand in your notice or you hand in your resignation and then you start your notice period. In the UK, it's quite common to give a month's notice, but that can vary depending on your contract. So an example sentence: you are required to give a 1 month notice period if you plan to resign. Next, we have perks. Now, perks is a very informal expression, and it basically means the extra benefits that you receive from your job apart from your salary. So you get your money and you get some benefits. It could be something like a free gym membership, free coffee, that would be nice, or maybe even health insurance. And perk is basically the informal version of benefits. So a boss may talk about the benefits and you may tell your friends about the perks, but quite often this word will come up in an interview anyway. Example sentence: one of the perks of working here is free gym membership. So that was the second one, and do let me know if you know all 7. How many do you know? Let me know in the comments. And of course, if you really do want to improve your British English, every Thursday I teach a free live class here on YouTube at 6 p.m. Now, if you want to vote on what the next class will be and find out other information, there is a link in the description below and also in the comments. But now let's go on to number 3 and let's talk about probation. Probation, sometimes referred to as a period of probation or a probationary period, is the trial period when you start a new job. It's usually like the first 3 to 6 months, and that's the time in which your employer assesses your suitability for the role. In other words, it's basically a time where they analyze your performance, a trial period. And during that period of probation, the employer may decide that you're not right for the job, or even you may decide that that job is not right for you. Example sentence: I'm trying to make a good impression during my probationary period. Now, there is another common use of the word probation, but this one relates to the law. So be careful with this one. Probation can also refer to a period of time that a criminal must behave well and not break any laws in order to avoid being sent to prison. So probation can refer to your job or prison. I'm not sure what that says about the world of work. Now, for those at C1 level, the word liaise is crucial. Liaise basically means to communicate or work closely with other people, often between different departments or even different organizations. And it often refers to the sharing of information and working closely with that person. Example sentence: I'll liaise with the marketing team to ensure the project runs smoothly. Redeployment is another important term. Now, this one, redeployment, refers to the process of moving an employee to a different job within the same organization. And that's often to avoid redundancy, which is something we're going to talk about in a moment. So you're basically moving a person from one role to another. And the verb here is to redeploy. So an example sentence: after downsizing the department, several employees were redeployed to other roles. And don't forget, if you do want to join those live classes here on YouTube on a Thursday, all you need to do to find out more information is click on the link down below. Now, for the C2 level, we have redundancy. Now, redundancy is basically when your job no longer exists and you have to leave the company. So in other words, maybe the company decides that the department is too big, they decide to downsize, and they make some employees redundant. In other words, they no longer have a job there. It's a tough situation, but it's a key term to understand. Now, one common question that I get is this similar to being sacked or fired? Now, to be sacked and to be fired is basically a different thing. So if you're sacked or you're fired, you're usually told to leave the company because you've done something wrong. So if you break a company rule, you might be sacked. Redundancy is not your fault. Redundancy basically means your job doesn't exist, probably due to some kind of circumstance that's out of your control, like budget cuts. Now, another key difference between redundancy and being sacked is that when you take redundancy, you often receive money depending on how long you've been working at the company. So effectively, a company may pay you to leave your job. An example sentence of this: unfortunately, due to budget cuts, the company had to make several redundancies. And finally, we have time off in lieu. Time off in lieu. Sometimes that last word can be pronounced lieu or lieu. Now, time off in lieu is basically time that an employee who has worked extra hours may take off from work. So in other words, if you work another few hours, you can basically get that time back. So maybe your boss asks you to work an extra few hours, you get those hours back on a Friday afternoon. So effectively, you're earning your time back. This is an alternative to paid overtime, which is where we get paid extra money to work longer hours. Example sentence: the company offers time off in lieu for anybody who works additional hours. So there we have it. These 7 words and expressions are more than just vocabulary. They are essential tools to help you succeed in the British workplace. So whether you're starting out or advancing your career, knowing these terms will give you an edge. And if you found this video useful, please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that little bell icon for more tips on mastering British English. And from me today, all I want to say is thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you in the next lesson.